Hey guys, it's your boy Mark back with his second wrestling related review of 2023. Yep, 4 days into this year, already got my second wrestling related review up. This is going to be on NJPW Wrestle Kingdom 17. So, the show is technically still ongoing, but like I kind of get what's obviously happening with like the final segment of the promo. But I've watched all matches. I'm gonna review all matches, and I'm really excited to do this review, get it over with. But we'll get to that later. I was about to say some obvious stuff if you've seen the show and know me, but yeah. Anyway, first off, I'm gonna review. This is Japan's WrestleMania, by the way, and yeah, I was very excited for the show, especially for the main event. But what blows my mind, it's been 5 years since Wrestle Kingdom 12. That was the first New Japan show I ever watched in full, and it was amazing. That is honestly one of my favorite wrestling shows ever, Wrestle Kingdom 12. I love that show to death. Masterpiece in my eyes, and honestly, no New Japan show has topped it since for me, and I don't think it ever will. And also, the show honestly reminded me of Wrestle Kingdom 13. How did it remind me of Wrestle Kingdom 13 from 2019? Well, because all the matches besides like the last two matches were like pretty short. Like less than 15 minutes. Besides the last two matches, of course. But let's get on with this review with the three pre-show matches. Exhibition match: Ryohei Oiwa versus Oleg Boltin. This was just I don't know who either of these two are. This was just like I said, exhibition match. It went to a 3-minute time limit draw, but it was still enjoyable just to see some wrestling, Second pre-show match, we have the New Japan Ranbo to determine who will challenge for the Provisional KOPW King of Pro Wrestling 2023 Championship at New Year Dash. Kenta was in this match. I saw Kenta in the I saw Kenta at the Noah show on January 1st. That was cool. I'm sorry, just... Oh, far, what was I talking about? Anyway, yep, I saw Kenta here. I fell asleep during this match, honestly, and for quite a while. It wasn't the wrestler's fault, though, because I actually was really tired during this match, and I had a long and awesome day today. I woke up and went to my uncle's house, had chicken and chips, fish and chips, and I played for the first time Red Dead Redemption 2 for a little bit, and also I had a swim in his pool. That was a really fun swim, actually. I actually went to the beach on January 2nd, That was a nice swim too. And this was my second swim, and I'm sure I'll have another swim whenever I go back to his house. It might be tomorrow. But the winners of this, New Japan Ranbo, because it was 4 winners: Great-O-Khan, Shingo Takagi, Sho, and Toriano. Yep, they're in that 4-way match. Match 3 of the pre-show: Antonio Inoki Memorial 6-man tag match. Yuji Nagata, Satoshi Kojima, and Togi Makabe versus Tatsumi Fujinami, Minoru Suzuki, and Tiger Mask. That was fine. Rest in peace, Antonio Inoki, of course. Team Makabe won, and they actually had Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin, or at least some version of it, as their entrance music, which was so awesome. Stupid fish and chips making me trying to hiccup. But after the match, we got a wholesome, like Happy New Year thing from Tatsumi Fujinami. But, yeah. And the show officially began. Match 1 was IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match, which was Catch 2/2, consisting of TJP and Francesco Akira, defending against LiYoh, which is Lio Rush, and Yo. This was a really fun opener. I really had a blast watching this match. The match started like before it actually officially begun. You had them already attacking and fighting each other as their entrances were finishing up, doing cool stuff to the outside. That New Japan stuff, your boy loves. And they would like fighting on the ramp area for a bit. And yeah, I was rooting for Team LiYoh just because I do like Lio Rush a lot. Mostly because he's a former Intercontinental Champion in my WWE 2K series. There was some really cool face washes, like in the corner. I forgot who was doing it to who. And the arsehole broke up Yo's pin at some point. I'm reading off notes, by the way, so if I'm saying a bunch of stuff and it seems like I'm just saying random stuff that happened in the match, well, I'm just going off the notes I wrote, of course, while I watched the show. The champions retained, and Rush was actually bleeding during this match. And, yeah. Next match, we have the IWGP Women's Championship match. We have Kairi defending against Tam Nakano. I really enjoyed this match, actually. It was really short, but I really, really enjoyed this match. I love my girl, Kairi Sane. There were this awesome-ass, and I couldn't really tell who was doing it. I don't remember, who was doing it to who. There were like these really awesome slaps during this match that, wow, they sounded and echoed throughout the arena. It was badass. There was this really nice stare down between them at one point during the match, which reminds me of when I, stare at pictures of one of my crushes, you know what I mean, on my phone mostly. But yeah, and my girl Kairi retained, thankfully. And after the match, Sasha Banks made her debut. Yeah, so, that's the worst kept secret. This has been rumored for long ass time. Sasha Banks debuting in New Japan Pro Wrestling. And she is now Mercedes Moné. And her theme song is really cool. I don't remember how it sounded, but I remember really digging her theme song when she was coming out. Now, Sasha Banks, you know, good for her that she's debuting in New Japan. I will say the truth, alright? I was, and I still am, honestly, I still do, you know, criticize her for, you know, how she left WWE, and I've posted, like, so many comments saying the exact same thing. Whenever I see a post about Sasha Banks, I've been writing, fuck that entitled bitch, and I still think that, you know, her, like, mostly for her rather than Naomi, even though she's an entitled bitch too for this, for that, you know, but good for her that she's in New Japan. But you know, when she like made posts like tweets last night or whenever she did it, I actually don't know when she did those tweets, but I did see that she made some tweets thanking WWE, thanking Vince McMahon, thanking Triple H, and she is based for thanking Vince McMahon. You got frickin' virtue signalers, like that dipshit Tempest from Parts Unknown, as well as that big head fuck, what's his name, Andy from What Culture, you know, trying to slander Vince, you know, and just, you know, for bullshit, trying so hard to make the Vince stuff from last year, which, like, who cares, seriously, the biggest, like, news in terms of wrestling, in terms of 2022, when in actuality, it was the CM Punk all-out stuff. Both Tempest and Andy Murray can get fucked, if you ask me. But so she's so awesome for thanking Vince McMahon, because he's the reason that any of us are wrestling fans. Let's be real. Like, if not for WWE, if not for Vince, neither of us would be wrestling fans. Or, you know, I'm sure, like, most of us, like 98%, maybe even higher of us, are wrestling fans because of Vincent Kennedy McMahon. You know, I've criticized him in the past. He's done stuff I don't like in wrestling, like booking decisions and all that. But at the end of the day, he's a legend. The greatest sports wrestling promoter ever. So that was awesome. And she basically just challenged Kairi Sane, saying, you better enjoy your reign while it lasts, because I'm taking it. And I've heard, like, February next month, she's going to, you know, actually be challenging for that match. You know, Sasha Banks versus Kairi for that championship. Cool. You know? But yeah, she's based for thanking Vince McMahon. And on to match number 3. Now, this was when my uncle came home from work with fish and chips. And this was actually just as the match was starting. I could smell them all the way from my room as I was streaming the show. And I decided to have some fish and chips. But I came back. The match was still going on. Seemed like a really fun match, actually. And we got new champions. Bishamon, consisting of Hirooki Goto and Yoshi-Hashi, defeated FTR, consisting of Dax, Harwood, and Cash Wheeler for the IWGP Tag Team Championship. Awesome. That's not the last. We'll talk about Hirooki Goto in this review, by the way. Next up, we have a really good match, actually. Tournament final for the inaugural NJPW World Television Championship. Zack Sabre Jr. versus Ren Narita. This was a really enjoyable match, actually, I thought. I really liked Zack Sabre Jr.'s blonde hair. There was this part when he was, like, kicking the crap out of Ren, and he was like, come on. And there were some awesome counters in this match, including a German suplex from Ren Narita. And I think it was right after that Zack Sabre Jr. did this really funny, like, he had his arms out, kind of like a zombie, or like a mummy, more like it. And, like, he was doing, like, this moonwalk thing immediately after that German. I think it was immediately after that German, but you know what I mean. Zack Sabre Jr. locked in submission hold, instant tap out, and Zack Sabre Jr. is the inaugural NJPW World Television Champion. Awesomeness. Good for him. And after the match, these two guys came out. I don't know who they are. And Zack joined their faction, so cool. But, yeah, match number 5, well, the next match afterwards, Never Openweight Championship, Carl Anderson defending against Tama Tonga. I really enjoyed this match, actually. I really did. Actually, this might be, like, my 3rd favorite match of the night, actually. Carl attacked the referee, fought Tama on the outside, did like a tombstone or something like that on the ramp, and it looked like the match might have been over just like that. It was not. And this match honestly kind of reminded me of Chris Jericho versus Tetsuya Naito from Dominion 2018. You know, like how not how Naito was damaged so hard, like probably before the match, and he was like the underdog, like basically running on fumes and all that. And honestly, I never really cared for Tama Tonga. Honestly, like I just never got onto him as a wrestler. But man, I loved his performance tonight. His performance tonight was awesome and made me a fan. You know, hopefully he keeps this type of wrestling up. But yeah, he wins the Never Openweight Championship. So good for Tama. And yeah. And by the way, I heard that Carl Anderson was in the finals when the Never Openweight Championship first came about. And that was in 2012. And he didn't win that title until just now. I mean, not just now, because he lost the title tonight, but I mean, far out. Over a decade later, you didn't win the championship, you won the finals. Well, that's insane. But good for Tama. Good for Carl Anderson, too. You know, for, you know, finally winning that championship a decade later, even though he lost it tonight. But yeah. Next up, we have 6-man tag team match. Kaiji Muto, you know, Great Muta, Hiroshi Tanahashi and Shota Umino versus Los Ingobernables de Japón, consisting of Tetsuya Naito, Sanada, and Bushi. A fun, solid match. You know, I was really just watching this match for the stuff between Tanahashi and Naito, to be honest. And it was cool when they went at it. And the ending happened with, I think, Shota and Bushi of all people. You know, a team. Muto won. Cool. I love that the commentators, and this is his last New Japan match, so good for him. Like I said, I haven't really been that familiar with Great Muta, you know, honestly. So, but yeah, he's alright. You know, he's alright. Like I saw his match with Hulk Hogan from '93. That was a good match. Wasn't amazing, but it was good. His match against Shinsuke a few days ago was good. This match was good. That's good. But yeah. Anyway, even though neckbeards will probably say otherwise, but who cares what they say? Anyway, next up, oh, by the way, the commentators mentioned something really cool that I wrote down in my notes. Apparently, Great Muta invented the moonsault or something like that. Like, he did the moonsault in 1985, they said, and they just called it a sunset flip, the commentators back then. So that was cool. That was a cool one. Now, the next two matches, which are the third to last and second to last matches, respectively, of course. I didn't write any notes down for these matches, and why did I not write any notes down? Well, because I went to get the remaining fish and chips that my uncle brought home, so I wasn't gonna like go on my phone and write notes with greasy ass fingers and hands and food. You know what I mean? I did write notes for the main event though. But 4-way match for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Taiji Ishimori defending against El Desperado, Hiromu Takahashi, and Master Wato. This was a really fun match, actually. I almost gave this a much higher rating, and, you know, myself from like a year or 2 years ago would have given this a much higher rating. The reason I'm not giving this a much higher rating is because I probably, tomorrow, I'll probably forget, like, everything that happened in this match, if I'm being honest. Heck, the commentators mentioned a match between Takahashi and El Desperado that happened at Wrestle Kingdom last year. And I watched Wrestle Kingdom last year. I have no memory of that match whatsoever, that it even happened, or whatever happened in the match itself. Honest to God. I remember having fun with this match. There was they did some really cool stuff fighting on the outside and all that. And, There were moments when you thought it could have been over, but, someone else broke up the pin. It was fun stuff. I remember, like I said, I remember really having fun watching this match, but like I said, even now, I already don't remember a lot of what happened, but still. And the ending came when Hiromu Takahashi pinned, I think, Master Wato to win the title for the 18,000 trillionth time. I don't really care, but cool, good for him. I mean, I don't know why how many times has he won that title at Wrestle Kingdom alone? Like, far out. You know what I mean? I don't know why that's the thing with New Japan. As much as I love New Japan, I gotta say, we've had the exact same wrestlers, in the exact same positions for a decade now. I mean, I wasn't watching New Japan a decade ago, but I've still seen the match cards. Heck, a decade ago you had Kazuchika Okada in the main event against Tanahashi. And you still had, Naito versus Okada a year later. Tanahashi versus Okada the next 2 years. You know what I mean? You get the picture. I can't be bothered to name them all, but the exact same wrestlers in the exact same position. That's the same with you know what I mean? I mean, I still love New Japan, but you know what I mean. But yeah. Anyway, next up, the penultimate match of the evening. Probably the overall most anticipated match for most people going into this IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship match. Will Ospreay defending against Kenny Omega. This match was a slow burn. I'm not as into Will Ospreay matches being slow burns, to be honest. I prefer fast-paced, him doing flips in everywhere and stuff. Like when I watched him at Wrestle Kingdom 12 5 years ago. Oh man, that match was amazing. I remember that match. I was telling you guys how I was forgetting already the 4-way junior match from just before this match. But I still remember a lot of what happened in the 4-way from 5 years back, which had Will Ospreay, Hiromu Takahashi, Marty Scurll, and Kushida. I remember Hiromu was taped or something to the rail or something. I remember Ospreay doing that amazing flip on the outside off of something to something. And amazing stuff, man. Yeah, what else? Yeah. I give this match 4 1/4. It's an awesome match. And it slowly got better, but I'm not as big a fan of the slow burn Ospreay matches. It made sense storyline wise, no doubt, but oh man, I love that promo that I saw online for this match. Or between them at a press conference, Will Ospreay was calling Kenny Omega a little cunt, which was, oh man, I love hearing Will Ospreay say the C word. I remember he called Hiromu Takahashi a cunt during their match at Dominion 2018. So yeah. But Will Ospreay, there was a table involved. That was really cool. Actually twice, I think. And Omega landed on it the second time on the underside, which was, that's where the middle stuff is, And there was this really awesome part when Kenny Omega, and by the way, I just gotta say, it's so awesome to see the New Japan version of Kenny Omega back. I don't know what it is, but the AEW version of Kenny Omega, it just hasn't really been clicking with me, if I'm being honest. It's I enjoy him, kind of, but I know he's so much better than this. It's extremely beyond frustrating, you know what I mean? But New Japan Kenny Omega, that's the Kenny Omega I love. But I was rooting for Will Ospreay still. In this match, that was awesome when Kenny Omega was smashing Will Ospreay's head into the already broken table. That was cool. Ospreay, there was this cool moment when they were fighting on the apron, and Will Ospreay did this really cool kick and just kept his leg up in the air for a while. That was cool. And Kenny Omega did like a DDT on the top turnbuckle. I think Will Ospreay was trying to do the flip bottom. And then Kenny Omega did the DDT. And that's what led to what's his name? Will Ospreay bleeding pretty bad. And then he was trying so hard to avoid the V-trigger in this match. He took the V-trigger like 4 times in this match after that. Man, like, that DDT on the turnbuckle, though, that really, like, affected Will Ospreay during this match. You know, he was, like, stumbling, but he was still fighting hard and strong, which I loved. You know, he was still a winner in this match, regardless of the ending. He did the Oscar like, twice, kick out both times, and, what was I trying to say? Far out. Alright, and then there was a moment when, like, Ospreay was, like, on his knees, I think. He was looking up at Kenny Omega, and he was like, "Fuck you," and then he spit in his face. And then Omega did the Kamigoye One-Winged Angel as I was shouting for Ospreay to please kick out. Kenny Omega wins the match and wins the IWGP United States Heavyweight Championship for the 2nd time. Why? 3 Wrestle Kingdoms in a row, Will Ospreay loses. Some bullshit. I mean, it was a great match still, and, you know, good for Kenny Omega, you know. I was hoping with that they would give me what I wanted in the main event, but we'll get into that right now. The main event, without question, the match I was most looking forward to, for obvious reasons if you know me. IWGP World Heavyweight Championship. Jay White defending against Kazuchika Okada. I still, at least I have good memories of their Wrestle Kingdom 13 match. And this match, I would say, was better than that. But no way in hell was the ending to this better than that. I don't care what any of you freaking neckbeards say. Anyway, Okada wins the G1 for the 8 billionth time. Jay White, champion, the world champion for the 2nd time. Awesome. Wrestle Kingdom main event for the 2nd time. Awesome. Funny enough, I did review Wrestle Kingdom 15 when that happened, and I was here at my grandparents' house 2 years ago when Jay White main evented, and 2 years later, I'm here again at my grandparents' house. Where did that happen both times? Because every other Wrestle Kingdom that I reviewed, I was at my main house. You know what? Like when I watched the show. So Jay White, and Okada, main event of Wrestle Kingdom 17. Again, the match itself I thought was better than their Wrestle Kingdom 13 match. The ending, sure as hell doesn't touch their Wrestle Kingdom 13 ending. Alright, something I wrote in my notes. Kazuchika Okada looks like a male Daniela Pineda. And you're like, bro, that's such a random thing to bring up. I know, but just saying, like, because it feels weird that he does to me, because I have a massive crush on Daniel Pineda, if you guys know me. And, like, the fact that, like, sometimes he looks like a male version of her, and I'm a straight man, you know. That's like, why do you have to look so much like her? Why? You know what I mean? Oh my gosh. But there was this amazing front flip senton to the outside. I think to both Okada, no, not Okada, to both White and Goto. That was awesome. There was this awesome, well, not necessarily like how the reference was made in itself, but the fact that Stanley Kubrick got referenced in the show was awesome. They were talking about, like, the way that they did the camera things. I think it was for, you know, that thing that Okada does, that Rainmaker camera thing. And they were like, Stanley Kubrick with another masterpiece. You know, that was cool. That they referenced Stanley Kubrick. There was an attempted low blow when Goto was distracting the referee, but Okada blocked that. Jay White spit in Okada's face and then did this awesome sleeper suplex to Okada right after that. There was this awesome suplex that Jay White did, sending Okada to the outside. Jay White did the Blade Runner. Okada kicked out. Alright. It was much more believable here for someone to kick out of the Blade Runner than it was at Wrestle Kingdom 15. Because they made the Blade Runner an unkick-outable finisher. And freaking Kota Ibushi was still hurting bad from the previous night. How the F does he kick out of the Blade Runner, the unkick-outable finisher after that? That's some bull, seriously. So it was much more believable here than it was there for Okada to kick out of the Blade Runner. Obviously, that annoyed me. But Jay White, this was a really cool moment. Jay White did the Rainmaker camera thing himself, and the cameraman did do the thing for him too, which was awesome. Okada, early in the match, did a spinning Rainmaker, but didn't go for the pin. Later on, after we were talking about, you know, Okada kicking out of the Blade Runner, Jay White gets hit with the Rainmaker for the second time, and he kicks out. And now, the final stretch, counter after counter. Who's going to land their finisher first? Who's going to win? Of course, Okada does the Rainmaker for the third time, and for the 18,000 billion trillionth kabillionth fillionth 45th time wins the IWGP World Championship. Why? Why does he need that again? He had his moment last year, man. Why couldn't you have Jay White win the Wrestle Kingdom main event for once? Seriously, that was so annoying. And it was such a nonchalant ending, too. Just a random ass out of nowhere. Rainmaker, and just 1, 2, 3. Fuck off, man. That was annoying more than it made me mad or, you know, or tore me apart like when Jay White lost 2 years ago to Kota Ibushi. This was annoying. What the hell? Why does he need that again? Okada, one of the GOATs. No doubt. Love Okada as a wrestler. And this match was actually a different match. I won't lie, in my head, I've kind of been having arguments with, in my head, not for real, about people about like, oh, John Cena, because John Cena is my favorite wrestler of all time. Oh, all of his matches are the same. Which they're not. Look at, I was saying in my mind, look at Okada's matches. His matches are all the same. He does the, oh, I'm going to hit you, nah, just kidding thing. Does the drop kick, does the diving crossbody to the outside over the barricade, does the camera thing, Rainmaker, 1, 2, 3. That's what I had that in my head. This was actually different, I'll give it that. I don't think we did get that crossbody, but even though it's a cool bit, I'm glad we didn't get it again tonight. And I don't know Jay White won against Okada at Wrestle Kingdom 13, but why couldn't he win it again here? Like, this was the main event this time, and he lost the main event 2 years ago. Yeah, Okada's won it 8 billion freaking times, man. I don't know what the heck he gains from this, but so I'm frustrated. I'm annoyed at that. I'll probably stay up for a while, just watch TV and do stuff, like watch TV, but man, I'm annoyed at Okada won. Like, when that stupid nonchalant ending too. Far out. And was funny enough, 2 years ago, Jay White was the challenger. He lost that. And it was the other way around. He was the champion this time. He lost again. Why? Man, that's annoying. That's super frustrating. I even told my boy Danny, who's not a wrestling fan, but I still love talking about wrestling sometimes. I told him, I'm watching Wrestle Kingdom right now. You know, still an awesome match. Still a fun show to watch, but the endings to the last two matches annoyed me. Especially the main event. And by the way, there's no such thing as a double main event yet again. The only match that's the main event is the match that goes on last. And Okada versus Jay White went on last. This is the only main event. Ospreay Omega, not a main event. Alright. But I was telling, and Danny hearted my message about I'm watching Wrestle Kingdom, and then when I saw he did that, I messaged him that my fellow New Zealander lost the main event. Fuck off. Not you, Danny, and the people behind Wrestle Kingdom tonight. Fuck's sake. He responded, oh, big shame. But I wish there was something I could do about it. But I don't know. I actually have a list of wrestlers that, because, you know, it's my dream to be a wrestler. I 1000% have every intention of wrestling for the first time this year. Within the next 2 months. At that. And I did a list of wrestlers that I refuse to lose to. And Okada was on that list. I should show the full list in full to the public. Anyway, that's my Wrestle Kingdom 17 review, y'all. Hope you guys enjoyed. God bless you. Peace, love, and hugs. Peace out.